Hello, everybody. I know it's been a little while. I'm here to mostly let you guys know that I have not disappeared off the face of the earth, despite common belief. And sort of what to expect from here on out on my channel. A lot has gone on in my life since my last upload, when I said I was going to step away from politics for a little bit. And I'm still planning to do that. But perhaps I didn't explain why well. So to prevent further confusion, I will do my best to explain now. I have never been as politically inclined as my brother, weird liberal head. That's okay. But, but politics hasn't really, in my opinion, been fulfilling for me. And what I mean is, I like making people smile, making people laugh, helping people out when they're having a bad day. And maybe it's just my family who doesn't see eye to eye politically. At least I don't with my family. But all I've ever come to know politics is you either make people happy by agreeing with them, or you just hurt people and make them upset. And that's not what I like to do. It's not who I am, and I feel putting out that kind of content on my YouTube, or even in real life, only alienates me from a large group of people who I really don't intend to alienate myself from. But when all your comments read that you're either a voice piece for your brother, or I sound intelligent for my age, or you're stupid because you don't agree with me, it sure makes you think a little bit that maybe I could do something which would appeal to a broader base. And one of my interests actually is comic books, particularly Marvel comic books. So I was considering looking at a bunch of comic books, not just bad ones, not just good ones, but a huge range. I will not make that joke. And maybe if there's enough interest, I could expand to what little DC and other titles I have. I think I'd starting this off whenever I can get around to sitting down and doing the work for it. Like a little bio for a few different heroes, maybe team like the Avengers. Especially with the movies coming out, it seemed like a good idea. And what these bios would be, my first one being Spider-Man, because he's one of my favorite superheroes. The bios would be like a little overview of the hero's powers with their origin, a little bit about their secret identity, the life that a character lives. In this case, would be Peter Parker, like his job, his relationships, and whatnot. But I would take the superhero and would incorporate some of the larger storylines that the hero's been involved in, and big changes for them, like long-term changes for them with relationships and powers and whatnot. So like his romance with Black Cat, or marriage and eventual divorce with Mary Jane Watson, or the introduction of the new black symbiote alien suit, depending which sources you look at, give it different names. And I could lead up to whenever the video is posted, so I could go back to the 60s when the Spider-Man comics started with Amazing Fantasy 15, The Burglar, and Uncle Ben, and whatnot, all the way up to, at this point, 2016, and the aftermath of the Superior Spider-Man storyline, where Dr. Octopus takes over Peter Parker's body and mind, as well as taking over being Spider-Man in a very controversial and seemingly unpopular storyline. Now the idea of bringing the character back, and I could do something which I don't see a whole lot of on YouTube, which is like put it all in one place instead of like reviewing only one comic or only looking at like a certain TV show. I mean, I could do that too, but like, so you have one definitive place where you can just figure out like all the basic facts about a superhero, so you sort of know what they've been up to, their roots, sort of the character is, without necessarily having to go out and buy all the comic books, sort of like I've done because I really like them, just to figure out what's been going on with the heroes and villains. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to give an ETA when that Spider-Man bio is going to come out because I would prefer to not feel confined to a certain deadline. Because especially with the amount of time you guys have already had to wait for me to give you anything new to watch or interact with on my channel, I want to give you guys some quality that I would expect to see if I were looking for something like I'd be uploading. So I don't want to rush that. So thank you guys for your patience, and apologize for the minimalistic editing that's going to go into this vlog. The hoarseness in my voice, I don't know why it's like that, but it is. So, until I can come up with that Spider-Man bio, make my Marvel. This is a War Machine toy head. Note, no War Machines were injured in the making of this toy head, nor will they be in my upcoming videos. As far as politics goes, I'm not going to try to recap all I've missed. I will say, quick rest in peace to some of my favorite guys in the world who passed away in the last few months. Christopher Lee, known for a few roles, such as Francisco Scaramanga in the James Bond Man with the Golden Gun, Dracula in the Hammer Dracula films, Saruman, Lord of the Rings, and recently the Hobbit trilogy, as well as Count Dooku in Star Wars Episodes 2 and 3, Leonard Nimoy, known for Mr. Spock, as well as his brief role, well, not so brief role, in the Transformers movies. I believe his name in it was Galvatron. I'm looking it up. Can't think of her name. Grace Lee Whitney, who played Janice Rand, Yaman Janice Rand on Star Trek. The blonde girl who they always tried to make for a love interest with Kirk that never really worked out. She was cool. Justice Scalia, I wouldn't say he's my favorite people in the world, but he did pass away rather recently, so I thought I'd point that out. Offhand, David Bowie, Harper Lee, author of To Kill a Mockingbird and Ghost of the Watchmen. And no, I will not comment on that book because I have not read it. I have read To Kill a Mockingbird, though. That's all that comes to mind now. I'm sure there are others. Rest in peace, those I mentioned and those I've forgotten. At least temporarily. And Democratic race quickly, Bernie and Hillary. I do support Bernie, and while it's unlikely he's going to get the nomination, I am proud of him for not dropping out and not quitting, but sticking it to the bitter end. Looks like it's going to come down to Hillary and Hillary Clinton and Trump. As much as I doubt that Trump will beat the nominee, it seems like he's gotten the Tea Party support. Funny part is, the GOP is starting to fall apart over that. The few people I've talked to who are classical GOP conservatives are still surprised by this, don't really like him. And like, this isn't the party of Bush with the little idiot we used to put in the White House, who was dumb as he was our little idiot. We all liked him for that. My biggest problem against Trump isn't any of his policies, isn't any of his rhetoric, isn't even his ability to take every stance on an issue, which makes him completely unreliable, but the fear and hatred he seems to stem, and by not condemning it, he's condoning what's going on with his rallies, and it hasn't stopped there. The violence, the hatred, the bigotry, And I'm afraid that if he is elected, and the more he gets put on a national stage, the more that kind of behavior, as we've seen in his rallies, is going to expand and be strengthened by the Trump's enabling of it by not using his authority influence to put a stop to it, as well as the GOP's seeming lack of effort or interest to say that this isn't what their party stands for and that they are not going to be supportive of Trump. He's not going to condemn the actions of the violence and the hatred and the racism that's going on. Not isolated to his rallies, but definitely prominent there. And if nothing else, I fear that if he's elected and that he's going to allow our country to go that way. And that's a very scary thought to have to think about no matter how old you are. That's about it. And without rambling and making this video unnecessarily long and turning off possible viewers, I will bid you farewell and say this time I actually do mean to start uploading, hopefully by next week. But maybe I should just stick to saying I will at least be working on a video by next week. And I have started on the Spider-Man bio, so it's not just a shot in the dark. If you have any recommendations for a specific comic, hero, villain, team to bio, storyline to try to explain or the best of my ability, or political event you want me to comment on, event, person, whatever you want me, race you want me to comment on, please let me know in the comments below. I can't think of anything else to say at this point. And maybe when it comes, maybe instead of just being political in the future, one thing I meant to say earlier, I'm considering adding some philosophy in. So maybe instead of just saying I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat, I can sort of do my best to explain what those terms mean to me. Because saying you're something is not as important as understanding what that something is that you are claiming aligns with your personal views. And we see this in our definitions of liberal and conservative, of feminine and masculine, of right and wrong, democracy and dictatorship. And that's very interesting to think about, and I could definitely try to comment on some of these in the future. This for real this time. Goodbye, viewers around the world. I will see you in whatever I end up doing next. Bye.